Now for the really cute bit, making these gorgeous little woodland animals. For this you use modelling paste. I really like the Squires Kitchen sugar modelling paste. It sets really firm, which is important when you're making models. It doesn't crack, but also it comes in a resealable pack, which is what you need when you're working with modelling paste to be able to put it back in the pack so it doesn't dry. Let's start with the fox. Now I've got my modelling paste here, which I've already kneaded, and I've got a golf ball size amount, and this golf ball size will do the entire fox. I've rolled it into a ball. Always start with a ball, and then what we do, really easy way of portioning this, is we cut it in half, and then we cut one half into a quarter. Put them to one side, and we start with this one half. Now you'll notice it's white. All the animals start white, and I'll explain why later. So take this one half here, and then we want to start to roll that into a ball. And what I'm doing is I'm going to create this shape here, which I've already made in advance. This is for the body. Bodies and heads we make in advance because we need them to firm up. So once I've rolled this into a nice ball in the palm of my hand, what we do is we then want to sort of start to push down one side, and we're essentially making a bit of a teardrop shape. There we go. So, and we've got a rounded base, and then all we do with that is we want to pop a cocktail stick into it, like that. And once that's in, just make sure if you've got any fingerprints, you just smooth them out, like so. So then it looks like this one here. Put that to one side, and let that firm up, ideally overnight. Then we move on to another quarter. Now this one will make the head. And we just pinch a little bit off because we want that for the ears. And now we want to knead this one and roll that one into a ball. Okay, and this is the head. So the head, as I said, we make in advance. So to get this funny looking shape, and I know it looks funny at the minute, but once we start putting the features on, it looks really cute, is with our little ball here, we just want to slightly pinch each side, and these for the little bits of tufts of the fox's face, just like that. And then we want to bring that protruding nose out, so we just pinch forward like that. Can you see it from that angle? I'm sort of pinching it forward, but then just squeeze it in like so, and that way, as you can see, this is where the eyes will go. This is our nice little protruding nose here, and then we've got these little pinches here of the little tufts, and you can actually just shape them a little bit more if you like. There we go. And then what I'd like to do with that is I like to just make a little indentation in it, just because I want to put my eyes in there later on once it's set. There we go. So that's the head. Again, put that to one side. So I've now got a firm head and a firm body, which I made the day before. And I want to start assembling these with what I've got left over here. So we take some edible glue, and we just want to place a little bit of that on to our body, and then we get our head. Now make sure you've got the right way around, so the pointy nose is to the lower bit, it's just underneath the eye holes there. When we place this on, we really want to get some character into these. So I don't just want to pop it on and the fox is just sat there looking forward. I actually want the fox to have a little bit of character. So as I place this on, I'm going to put it slightly cocked to one side and slightly leaning forward. So that's the base of our fox. Now, so with that quarter left over, this will make our limbs and the tail. So for the legs, it's really simple as this. You just take a little bit, probably about a pea-size amount, like so. And then what you do is you just squash that between your fingers so it makes a little disc. And then you just brush onto the very bottom here and just squash that on like that. I'm going to lay him down for the minute until I get his feet securely on. And then I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. Okay, so that's part of his back legs done. Now for the paws. So we take another little bit, roughly the same, about a pea size amount. And this time we roll it into just a little sausage, like so. But then we want to kind of flatten the back of it. So we've got a bit of a more of a chunky bit here, which is the paw. And then what we do is you take some glue and then just glue the back of it, but not the bulky paw bit. And you want to just sit that on there like so. So there, it's his little paw coming through. And then just to make it look a little bit more realistic, you just take, it can be a cocktail stick or it can be a knife, and you just want to squeeze a couple of bits in there. How lovely is that? And then I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. There we go. Now he'll stand up straight. So with what's left, we take another bit. Now we want this fox to look really kind of wily. We don't want a chunky fox. So he needs to have really slender front legs. So we take another amount. Okay, so we roll this onto our palm of our hand into a long sausage, and you want this quite thin. In terms of length, it's about 1.5 inches. And then I want to cut that in half, because this actually makes 2 legs. And then we just roll again, but a little bit like you just did, where you want one end to be just a little bit fatter and a little bit slimmer on the rest of it. Like so, and then just do the same with this one. Okay, there we go. Right, now take some glue and just put a little bit down the front, and then you take your legs and stick them on. First of all, let's just get them on, and then we can move the position of them. Okay, right, now they're on. What we want to do is just bring them down so they're actually touching the ground, like that. But just to make it extra cute, and again, it's about adding character, I'm actually just going to bring in them a little bit at the top and widen them a little bit at the bottom. And it just brings in a little bit of character of the way the fox is standing. And then again, use a cocktail stick or a knife just to squeeze the little paw marks in it. There we go. How cute is that? Okay. Right, now for the tail. And for the tail, we just get what's left and roll it into a ball. And then we want to roll it into a sausage. And then one end, you want to get it, you don't want it long and thin. You want it pointed, but not too long. So really try and just get that tip pointed. And then what we do is we take a cocktail stick, and you just want to create a few little strokes in it just to kind of replicate sort of fox fur on the lovely bushy tail. Like that. And then what we do, take some glue and just glue the back of the fox just on its bum. And then with the tail, with the other end, this is where if you've got too much, you can take it off. You just pinch off any excess. And then you want to attach it to the back. And then just bring it round like so. So it's a lovely little big bushy fox's tail. So it's starting to come to life. Still looks a bit funny because obviously it's not coloured yet. I've just got one more thing to do at the moment, and that's the ears. First of all, I'm going to start to get the glue on the head. Because the head's set and it's firm, I want to get the glue on it so the glue can start getting tacky whilst I make the ears. Now for these, all we do is take a tiny, tiny amount. This is definitely smaller than a pea. This is more like a very small petit pois. And then we want to pinch it to make more of a triangle. But then you also pinch it flat that way. So can you see how it's pinching, pinching, like so? And then what we can do is we can take that and we can get like the end of a paintbrush, for example, and just squish it just to create that little center of the ear. And then what we do is we place that on top, and to make it stick, you just blend it in with the end of your paintbrush, like so. And then we can sort of play about with the shape. We can make it taller, we can make it flapping forward, which is quite cute. This is where you really get your character, these little final touches. And I'm just going to repeat that for the other one. There we go, lovely. Right, now that's done, we just need to let the ears and the limbs set for a little bit, and then we can get on to turning him into life by dusting him all the lovely colours. When it comes to colouring, you'd assume to use paints. However, I'm going to use dusts, and the reason is I want this kind of watercolour children's book illustration, which you can really achieve with the dusts. So I've got Squires Kitchen dusts here, and I've got orange and I've got black. And when we use them, it's important that you use them directly onto kitchen towel and not in a paint palette, because we don't want any streaking on our models. So you just take some and pour it out straight onto your kitchen towel. And then we use a brush. So everything is just dry dusted. And we take some, load up our brush, but then just dab it off a little bit, because we can build, but we can't take away. Now, for the body, let's start with the body. We want to keep the belly quite white. So we want to start by dusting down the side. As you can see, I've actually got the fox on the kitchen paper as well, and that's because it's a lot neater, because all the dust goes down to the bottom. And you can dust the whole of the legs. You're essentially dusting everything at this point apart from the head and the belly. So dust the feet. Now for the tail, I'm going along most of it, but I just want it to have a little white tip, so I'm not going all the way. There we go. And then now for the head, we want to keep these bits white. So what we do is we go down the center with our brush, just gently going, pointing down to the nose, doing the forehead, and then into the ears. And then just slightly round the chin here. So just the eye area is kept white. There we go. How cute is that? Okay, I think that's enough for the orange for now. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my black. You don't want quite so much. And we want a smaller brush for this. And all we do, same again. So you load your brush up, then just dab it off. We want to do the little paws, the feet. So dust right at the base, and then slightly going up onto his back leg, and then repeat on the other side. Okay, lovely. Now for the eyes. For this, I'm actually using some more modelling paste. This time I'm using the Squires Kitchen modelling paste in black. And I just want a really, really small amount. Just to give that a bit of a knead. Now take a very, very fine brush, and you just want to pop it in a bit of glue, and you want to place it in each eye socket, and then a little bit on the end of the nose just there. And then take a tiny, tiny bit of the black. It's really small, just to make teeny little eyeballs, and then pop one in, and then the other one. And then when they're in, you can just flatten them in with the end of a paintbrush. Like that. And then finally, another one, slightly bigger this time. And just place that on the end for the nose. Look at the character of him. I love the way that his head is slightly cocked. So that is the fox done. How cute is that? So now let's move on to the next animal. Moving on now to this really cute little bunny rabbit holding a little piece of bunting, and I'm going to show you how to make that bunting later on. For this, it's a ping pong ball size amount, so slightly smaller than the fox. And we cut it in half, and this half we use to make the body. Now the body is made exactly the same way as the fox's body. So I've already made one and put my cocktail stick in, and it's nice and firm. Then we move on to the head. Now the head is just slightly less than a quarter of what you've got left. So it's about that much. And what we do with the head is we roll it into a ball. It's very simple. And then once you've got it into a ball, you literally just squish very slightly one end. It's almost like you're making like a little bit of an alien head, but actually that's upside down. You want to turn it. So when you put it against the body, these are the chubby cheeks, and they go on the top there. Now, the head I also like to make in advance and have it nice and firm. So here's one I made earlier. So we're going to stick these two together because these are nice and firm now. So a little bit of glue on the top. And remember, the wider side, the wider bit is the bottom. So we want to place that on like so. So there's the base of our bunny rabbit. Now, for this bit here, with what's left, we want to make the legs. Now, the legs are done exactly the same as the fox. So it's a little disc and then a little paw. Okay, now our legs are on, he stands up. So now on to tiny, tiny little nose. So a little bit of glue. Now we want this bunny rabbit to be looking up, because on the cake, he's looking up at the bunting and putting the bunting up. So just bear that in mind when you're doing your features. So we want the nose just on the end there, like so. Okay. And now for the little front paws here, I've got a little triangle of bunting here, which, as I said, I'll show you how to do later. What we do is we take a little bit into a ball, roughly about a small pea size amount. Then we roll that out slightly wider on one end. And then what we do, same again with this is the paw. So we just want to put a couple of little indentations in, and then I just want to repeat that, so I've got two. There we go. Now get some glue and just glue the front here And then put a little bit of glue on either side of your bunting at the top here on the widest part. And what we do is we take these little paws, place one on one side and then one on the other, like that. And then once we've done that, we just want to just hold them firmly in place and just bend this round like so. These are basically your two little paws. They're so cute. They're gripping the bunting. And then we want to stick that onto the bunny rabbit's body. Whoops, a little bit fiddly. Right, now let's make him a proper bunny rabbit and give him some ears. So with what's left, we take a chunk off, which is about a pea-sized amount, because that's going to be for your tail. And then with the rest, just give it a knead. And you just want to roll a little bit out into a sausage. And I've actually got a bit of corn flour here because I'm going to do a little bit of rolling. You don't want too much. And what we do, take a rolling pin and just roll it into a long section like so. Then we slightly pinch one end. And then the same with the other. Just sort of round it off a little bit, just to give it a bit of movement, like that. And then what we do is we stick this on the back of the head. Now, because this bunny rabbit is looking up, makes it a lot easier. Rather than having sticking up ears, we can literally place these on and actually have them flopping at the back like a floppy-eared bunny rabbit. And it just really gives him really cute character. Now I just want to repeat that to get another ear. Finally, with this bit here, we want to place a tail on, and he'll just make him sit up nicely. Stick that tail on, which is literally just a little ball of your modelling paste, like that. Now, he is complete with the modelling. Now what we want to do is do the dusting. For the bunny rabbit, I'm using 4 of the Squires Kitchen colours: pink, blue, black and extra white. Now let's just pop him here so you can see him. And for the main body, I've brought some of the blue in. I just think it's just adds that nice tone to it. So we take some white and then add a tiny bit of black. We're essentially making a very, very pale grey to start with. But we're just adding that tiny, tiny bit of blue. And I just think it adds to the children's illustration look. Now, we're going to pretty much cover the whole of the body with this. Just leave a little bit off the belly area. Okay, lovely. Right, now I'm going to get another brush and I'm going to go into the pink. And for the pink, we just want to do the nose. Cute little pink nose. And then a light dusting onto the little belly area there and here, just where you can just see. Lovely. And then using a really, really fine brush, get some of the black, and you want to create like the bunny rabbit's mouth by just doing a little bit of a smile, one side and then the other, like that. That's so cute. Okay, and now we need some black modelling paste. And you want to get some glue. Just pop a dot of glue on either side here for the eyes. And just place one on. and just press it in with the end of a paintbrush and repeat. And look at him, isn't he cute? How lovely. Next up, we're going to make the little hedgehog, and he is so simple to do. So we start off with a ball of the modelling paste. Size-wise, it doesn't have to be a certain ping pong or golf ball. It's whatever size hedgehog you want. Now, all we do is we want to create the nose. So we just pinch one side of it, leaving the rest of it into a ball shape as much as possible, but just pinch and keep going round so you've got an even pinch all the way around. And this creates the nose effect, like so. And then what we do, this is one of the things I really love about this paste. Right, so we take a cocktail stick, and bearing in mind that eyes are going to be about here and this is the nose, we want to make the rest of the body spiky. So we take the stick and we just pull it up like so. And occasionally you just need to clear your stick and then keep going along and just pulling it, and you create them really, really nice spikes. Works so well with this paste. And then once you've done one row like that, you go again behind. And you keep going until the whole of this side here, the whole of the back, is covered in these spikes. Okay, so now that's done, just here, we just want to do a couple just at the front here on the forehead. There we go. Right, now this nose, we can leave the nose how it is. However, to add a bit of character, and we want the hedgehog to kind of have this character where he thinks he can smell cake. So we want his nose slightly turned to one side and slightly pointing upwards, because that is where the cake will be. Okay, now we just want to poke some little eyes in here. I'm just using the end of a cocktail stick. And then onto the ears. So for the ears, we just take a little bit of paste, really, really small amount, into a tiny ball, like so, really, really small. And then you can either take a ball tool or the end of a paintbrush and just put a little hole in it like that. And then you want some edible glue, and just put a little bit of edible glue just on the side there, just above the eye. And then take that little ear and stick it on. And then just get it into a nice shape by blending it in with the end of your brush. Like that. They're very, very tiny hedgehog ears. And then I just want to repeat on the other side. There we are. Okay, now we don't want any of these spikes to be soft. So put it to one side to set. I've already got one here. So here's one I made earlier, nice and firm. So I'm going to bring in my dusts now. And I've got some brown, some white and some pink. Now let's start by mixing some of the brown. And I just add a little bit of white to it because I don't want the brown to be too dark. And it's very simple at this point. We just want to dust the whole of the body where it's spiky. Right, and then we take a little bit of pink with a bit of white because you don't want the pink to be too dark. And you just want to dust a little bit of pink onto the face here, which looks quite nice. Okay, now for the little bits of character. So take some edible glue and just want a very fine brush and poke some of the glue into each of the eye sockets, and then you just want a little bit on the tip here. And I've just got a couple of little eyes here. I'm just going to pop into the sockets. Okay, and then finally I've got the nose, which is just slightly bigger than the eyes. And I'm just placing it on the end, and again, just make sure that it's just slightly turning with the nose just on the end there. Lovely. And then I'm just going to actually put a little bit of pink in the ears, which I think would look quite cute. There we have it. There he is, a little hedgehog. Doesn't he look lovely? Now that's him done. Moving on to the next one. Last but certainly not least, we're now doing the little mouse poking out of the knot on the tree. So for this one, we take a little ball of paste, and all we do is you're essentially making a bit of a cone shape. So you're just twisting it round like so until you've got a point. And if you want, you can actually do it this way as well. Just a gentle roll. And then you want to bring the point to more of a point. And then once you've got that, you actually want to twist the point. Because again, you want the mouse to be, did someone smell cake? Right, so a little twist of a nose. Very simple. Then we make some ears. So for the ears, you get a little bit of paste, roll it into a ball. And then if you've got one, use a ball tool and then just flatten it, but make a little bit of an indentation like that. If you haven't got a ball tool, don't worry, you can just do it with your finger. And all we do is take some glue, and then just bear in mind the location of the nose pointing here. We want ears here and here. So just put some glue on. And then pop your ear on like that. Then what I tend to do is just use the end of a paintbrush. And then, because I just like to blend it in just to make sure it's fully stuck on there. Just like that. And then once it's on there, you can then have a little bit of a play if you want them a bit more closed or a bit more bending forward. And then we just want to repeat with another ear. Okay, there we go. Now for this one, we actually need to pop him onto a cocktail stick because we need that to be able to poke him into the knot on the tree. So again, think about the location of the cocktail stick. We actually want it right at the back of the ears. So just poke it in like so. Once it's on there, you can just really make sure you're happy with the shape and the direction of everything. And then what you do is you actually want that to set and go hard, ready for dusting. So I popped mine in some polystyrene, and as you can see, here's one I made earlier. So I'm going to bring that one out. He's nice and firm, and bring in the dusts. So for this one, we have some brown, pink and white. And we just want to dust some brown on him. But I do like to add a bit of white because I just don't like it to be too dark. And we're going to dust all around the back of the head. Looks like Mickey Mouse. Onto the ears. And then just put a little bit just on the tips of the ears. Right, now we get a smaller brush and go in with a little bit of the pink. And for this, we just want to place it on the centre of the ears. And then just a little bit on the tip of the nose here. Like so. Right, and then I've got 2 eyes and a nose here. So get some edible glue and just place a little bit of glue where you want your eyes. And then just dab them on. Then for the nose, I'm actually just putting it just slightly on the side. Pop that nose on just slightly off centre because he's looking that way and he can smell the cake that way. He's so cute. Okay, so he's done. Now let me bring in my rabbit and my fox. and Hedgehog. There we go. Look at these. Now, you can see why I really like using this paste because it's so versatile. All the little details have set really nicely, very easy to work with. And the dusting is lovely because it does look like a children's illustration. Now, I'm going to show you something. Here's a fox that I made. And I made this fox using a gel colour and colouring the paste, which is fine. And it looks great. But you can just see the difference if you want that watercolour effect. The dusts just work really, really well. And I think they make a really, really good little team, don't they? So now that's done, let's move on to the next bit. Before we start arranging all our animals on our log cake, I'm just going to make a couple more decorations, and they are some bunting and some ivy leaves. I've got my same modelling paste here and I've just rolled out a little strip of it. Now, I have got here a ivy leaf plunge cutter. You don't have to use these. If you don't have them, you can cut out freehand your own leaves. But I really like these because they're very easy to use and they have this lovely veining effect on them. So all you do is just press it into your paste, give it a little bit of a rub, and then you push down the plunge. And what that does is it does the indentation onto it. Now, really useful are these. This is just an avocado tray. You can use orange trays, apples, avocado, but what's nice about it is the shape. So you can put these in here to dry. As you can see, I've already done that with these, and you can have them just curved in any shape or direction you wish. And these are the ones that I've already done, and these have dried. Now moving on with this same bit of paste here, the bunting. Again, you can buy bunting cutters, but very easy. All you do is just cut a strip. So take a knife down one section and then again down the other. It's roughly 1 inch wide. Then very simple, you just go crisscross. So across and then across like that. And there you have it, your pieces of bunting. Okay, and just keep going until you have as many as you need. Now for these, again, we wanted a little bit of movement in them to make it look a little bit more like fabric. So again, all you do is just do a little bit of curling up at the edges. And if you want to, this usually will sit on its own, but you can also pop that into a tray as well until that's set into a nice shape. Now, as you can see again, we've done them in white, so we want to dust them. So I'm just going to bring in my dusts here, and again, here's one I made earlier. So I've got my dust. I've got the Squires Kitchen green and the dark green. So with my brush, I'm just going to start off with the lighter green. Just load the brush up and then just dust it off. And we start by actually going from the paper onto the leaf like that, just to get a nice edging on the leaf. And don't forget also then to turn it around and do the other side. Okay, and then just a light dusting all over the top. And then just to add a little bit more realism to it, we would then go in with the dark green. And you just want to pop that in the centre where your veining is. And just dust it up slightly and across around the veining, and it just brings it to life a little bit. Lovely. And then you just repeat with all of them. Now for the bunting, as you can see here, I've got different colours. I've got the blue, the orange, the red and the yellow. So I'm just going to take some and just dust it gently over a bit here. And don't do it too heavy. You want that watercolour look. And you can always build it. Brilliant. Right, now I've got my animals and I've got my bunting and I've got my ivy leaves. It's time to assemble everything onto the log. Now for the fun bit, putting everything together. On my previous cake, I made a mini cake to place on top. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I actually went into the shop and look, I actually bought a cupcake ready made. So I'm just going to place that directly onto the cake. It's quite sticky, so it'll just stick on its own. And I want a candle on top here. Now, I'd love to say I have lots of candles, but I don't. So I'm just going to take one out of here. I think it's important that I have a candle placed on top like that. How lovely is that? And then a little bit cut out, I'm going to put down at the front here. Just there. Okay. Right. Now for the fox. So when you're putting your animals on, just make sure you actually stick them on, especially if you're going to transport the cake. So just a little bit of glue onto the top where the fox is going to go. And then gently lift him up. Just be careful with the fox because his tail can be a bit heavy. And when you place him, remember he's kind of looking slightly sideways. So you just want to place him in a position where it makes it look like he's actually looking down at the cupcake thinking, oh, I really want to eat that. Like that. Okay, lovely. Right, now the mouse. So the mouse we want to have coming out of the knot. So this is why we had the cocktail stick. So we want him slightly side on, and then you just pop the stick in like so, and then just press it down like that. I love that. I love that. He's like, oh, where's the cake? Okay, now moving on to the hedgehog. So I'm going to use some leaves here. Now to make the leaves stick, what I've actually got here is a little bit of, it's my modelling paste, what we've been using, but mixed with a little bit of edible glue. And it just creates this really lovely sticky paste. And it's great for sticking things on that have dried out. So if I put it on a couple of my leaves, like that, and then that way I can actually stick them to the board. So just, excuse me, I just need to turn this so I can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm going to place one there, and then the other one just next to it, like so, just so they're slightly overlapping. And then I'm going to put a bit of this actually onto my hedgehog so it can sit on these dried leaves, just on the base there. And then look at him, sat there, again, turning towards the cake. How cute is he? Okay, right, now moving on to the rabbit. But before we put the rabbit on, I want to put some of the bunting on because I want to place the rabbit in a position where he's actually putting the bunting up. So take a piece at a time, and you will need some more of your sticky stuff rather than just edible glue. And just place a little bit on the back of the bunting, and then you have to kind of look at where you want it. And I want it just to run down this line here. So start off at the top and just place that on. Like so. Just make sure it sticks nicely. Okay. And then choose another colour. And you just want to place this next to it, going in this direction. And going down slightly. I'm going to repeat a couple more times until I'm where I think I want to be with the line. Okay, there we go. Right, that's enough bunting because I want to put the rabbit on now. And because I'm putting the rabbit straight on the board, I'll just put a bit of this sticky glue on the bottom of him. Now remember, the bunny rabbit is putting the bunting up. So wants to be looking at it and thinking, oh, where does this next piece go? And I think that's perfect. So a few more bits of bunting just next to the bunny rabbit, because these haven't been stuck up yet. So just one there and then another one, I think. Just behind. And then same with the leaves. If you want to do some more of the leaves, you can do. You can put maybe one on the top here. You can put them down on the board. One thing I must say also is that with the cocktail stick on the mouse, don't forget to bring the cocktail stick out before serving the cake, obviously. Right, there we go. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that I've inspired you to go off and make your own woodland party cake. So you don't miss out, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.